Does anybody even want the Heisman? That's what we got to be asking ourselves after another week of games here. Nobody's really taken control of the race for the Heisman Trophy. We're going to cover as many of the games on the Week 11 slate as we can in the next hour or so. This is College Fantasy Tonight, brought to you by campus2canton.com. What's up, everybody? Matt Bruning and Austin Ace here from Campus to Canton, doing College Fantasy Tonight. You know, our usual fantasy-centric instant reaction to all the games that happen on any given week slate. And then we always just give the disclaimer: these are our instant reactions, so we reserve the right to change our minds about things later in the week as we get to dive further into these games. There's a couple games still going on. We'll certainly try to get to those once they start wrapping up. Alabama, LSU, Kentucky, Florida, and then Cal, Louisville, which is in overtime. We'll chat about all of those here. But let's actually lead it off here, Matt, with Vanderbilt, Auburn. Vanderbilt, Auburn, a game that I don't think anybody thought was going to hit almost 80 points, go to overtime, but between the two of them, it did. Vanderbilt ends up winning 45-38. Vanderbilt on the day, Diego Pavia, another huge fantasy performance. Almost 400 yards passing, 3 passing touchdowns, over 100 yards rushing, and a rushing touchdown as well. Cedric Alexander, 10 for 39, a couple of scores. Eli Stowers, still hot from last week, 12 for 122 for him. Then Trey Richardson, the leading receiver, yardage-wise on the day for them, 3 for 124 and 1. On the other side of things, Matt, I mean, best offensive game out of Auburn, I think, this whole season. Ashton Daniels, 353 yards passing, 2 passing touchdowns, added about 90 yards and 2 scores on the ground. Jeremiah Cobb, if you've started him the past couple weeks, you're feeling a little hard done because I think he's got like 250 yards rushing combined the past 2 weeks, but has not found the end zone yet, which is a bit of a bummer for him. Cam Coleman had 143 yards and a touchdown. Eric Singleton Jr. had 100 yards and a touchdown. Malcolm Simmons, 2 for 46, and Perry Thompson had a couple of catches as well, I believe. Why didn't they fire Hugh Freeze weeks ago?
I don't know. I mean, it's funny, right? Because he went into the portal and brought in Ashton Daniels, and for life of me, cannot remember who was their original starting quarterback. Oh, Jackson Arnold.
Yeah.
Brought them in because he was like, right, this quote unquote QB whisperer, this great offensive coach, and yeah, this is the best the offense has looked again against a ranked opponent. While some of us thinking they were not quite as good as maybe the rankings said they were. Let's be honest, there have been some better teams that have not even put up as much offense as Auburn did today against Vanderbilt. So yeah, I'll say extremely a fun game to watch. I wasn't expecting Ashton Daniels to pass for 353 yards. Is great for, I think the running joke is now, right? It was great for future Texas A&M Aggies wide receiver Cam Coleman to kind of show himself again as how great he is as he's getting ready to transfer out of the team, jokingly, of course, if you're an Auburn fan, probably. But yeah, it's wow. I mean, you know, if this is what Auburn was supposed to be all year, I get why some people were projecting them possibly make the playoffs because they looked like it today, that team.
I don't have a lot of fantasy thoughts on this game other than the fact that I'm just curious if you can. I mean, I think I'd be willing to roll Cam Coleman and Singleton out there every week now. I mean, obviously, like not no matter what, maybe for Coleman, but
yeah. I was trying to see what the rest of their schedule looks like.
I know they have Bama the final week of the season because
obviously they get the Iron Bowl in the last game, right?
Yeah.
Oh, Mercer, yeah, I'm playing them next week. I think Daniels will look just as good next week against Mercer.
The frustrating thing is going to be that they probably won't. That's going to be the real fun part when we project them both for crazy yardage. But yeah, I mean, I think I'd be comfortable starting Coleman and Singleton in that matchup, just based on what happened today. It just seemed like they were opening up stuff a little bit more, and Daniels obviously looked competent, you know, better than competent, but you know that was the baseline for what they were hoping for today. So, I mean, it's really interesting stuff. Not really fantasy related. I'm just curious if a strong finish here, what that does for the staff to come back next year. I mean, right now, DJ Durkin, who was the DC is the interim.
Yeah.
They had, and I don't remember exactly how this story went, so I'll probably botch this, but they had like an assistant offensive coordinator who is standing in as the OC because Hugh Freeze was calling plays, but Freeze was allegedly only calling plays on like third down, and this guy was calling first and second down or something. However, they split these duties, but that guy just called all the game today, and I mean, it went better than it has. I don't know. I'm interested to see what kind of impact that has on their coaching search.
I mean, to me, it makes sense that things would be better, right? Like, again, I get it. I'm sure this guy had like some working with Hugh Freeze on the play calling and everything. But if you have one coach calling first and second downs, and another coach calling third downs, like I don't think that you get into any cohesiveness, right? Like if the coach calling first and second downs is probably calling plays for a certain reason, setting plays up for certain things. Then you have another coach coming in on third downs, possibly going completely opposite of what he was doing. So to me, that makes no sense. It makes sense why the offense looked a little bit more in rhythm today than maybe it has been throughout the season. And some of that may also be, it's hard for me to say Ashton Daniels is better than Jackson Arnold. I don't know that I even believe that, but you know what? At least, is that the best performance we've gotten out of an Auburn quarterback all year? I think so.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Didn't have that on. I mean, I picked them this morning when we picked this game. I picked Auburn, but like I didn't expect it to be a 38-38, like go into overtime game type deal. So
I did not. I picked Vanderbilt, so didn't feel great about it, but I did pick Vanderbilt.
Good for you. I think the line was 6 or 6.5. So
it was 6.
Unfortunately, it worked out for you there. Texas Tech BYU was, I think, a big game for both these teams. Obviously, I don't think Texas Tech could afford another loss, and for BYU, obviously they really haven't played anybody yet this year, so kind of proving that they belong in the top 10. Big storylines there for both of them. Texas Tech, I thought, dominated this game, like from beginning to end. As I watched about 50 minutes of it, like real game time. Texas Tech on their side of things, Baron Morton, I really didn't think he was great today. 17 for 32, 219 yards, a passing touchdown. It was a heavy Cameron Dickey day. I don't know how much of that was game script and how much that was just like game plan. 23 carries for him, 121 yards and a touchdown. He had a 24-yard reception as well. Jacoby Williams had 13 for 77, and then 2 catches for 32 yards as well for him. Reggie Virgil, leading receiver on the day, 3 for 54. Coy Eakin, 4 for 52. Terrence Carter, 4 for 41. I mean, all that bull crap that they do every week where everybody has 4 catches for 50-ish yards and we all go home happy. On the BYU side, Bear Bachmeier, I want to talk about him a little bit when we get to BYU because I actually walked away more impressed with him after this game than I kind of was coming into it, even though it wasn't a great statistical performance. He threw for about 188, 190 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. LJ Martin, 10 for 35 on the ground for him, 6 catches for 29 yards. Chase Roberts, 6 for 61 and a touchdown. Should have trusted those instincts this morning, Matt. You said over on his 4.5 receptions, and you flipped it while we were live on the show.
Yep.
Should have stuck to your guns. Parker Kingston, 5 for 43, and then Carson Ryan, 4 for 32. Where do you want to head in this game first? I have a couple of thoughts on it overall.
So how honest do you want me to be right now?
We gonna upset some Mormons?
Not upset some Mormons. We're gonna upset some money grubbing. I was gonna use a bad word there. I didn't get a chance to watch this game because it was on ESPN. And I don't have ESPN on YouTube TV. And as you found out right before the show, I paid actually today for ESPN's extra unlimited thing or whatever, so I could watch games, and it's still not working. So the only ESPN game I was able to watch for a little bit was Alabama LSU. So I didn't get eyes on this game at all. I wish. I was really excited about watching this. Didn't get to watch a lick of it, so I have no idea what happened. I know the final score.
It wasn't that like enticing of a game to watch overall, but I just, Texas Tech couldn't finish drives for a long time, so BYU was in this game for a while. I think it was like 13-0 at halftime, and Texas Tech had the ball on like 2-yard line, went for it on 4th down, couldn't punch it in, had to settle for a couple field goals to start the second half. They let BYU hang around in this when really like BYU wasn't moving the ball at all. I guess my two real thoughts on this game. Cameron Dickey is really, really interesting because I think that his movement skills at his size are good enough, and his his just sheer athletic stuff is good enough that he can be an NFL running back. And I think he's got pretty good hands.
Yeah.
I don't think I think he has some vision issues, and I'm not actually sure if it's vision issues or if he just gets real comfortable dropping the hammer and just being happy to pick up 2 yards at times. I can't tell which it is, but there was a lot of that today. But I thought overall when he was able to get free, he looked pretty darn good. And then I thought Bachmeier looked really relaxed and mature for a guy that was running for his life a lot in this game. The interception, it was definitely a freshman interception. He was able to shrug off a sack, climbed up in the pocket a little bit, and got a little too confident on what he could do to try to get the ball away. But that's the kind of interception, I don't really hate it that much. I kind of liked it. And I just thought overall, he wasn't getting a ton of help from an offensive line perspective. I thought he was pretty decent in this game. I thought the arm looked really good, really live. I thought he looked pretty accurate. Couple throws I'm sure he wants back, but I honestly thought that he looked pretty good in this game overall. So if you can go back and watch it at a later date, I would say go for it.
As long as ESPN figures out a way to get to work for me, I will be happy to go back and watch it.
Texas A&M and Missouri. Did you get
I did get a chance to watch it. I did get a chance to watch. You know what? Nobody's going to come after me. As I've talked to you before, we actually talked about this recently on C2C Live. My girlfriend is a graduate, an alum of Texas A&M. She used what is the probably politically correct way, a shady website to stream the game on TV from her phone. So we did get a chance to watch a lot of this game.
Nice. Is she in the room with you right now? Is that what you're?
No, she's over there.
You're looking around
you just got to always be careful about what you say. You know, you said from the Kyle McCord's dad days. Just Kyle McCord, the best quarterback at Ohio State.
Yeah, good times. Texas A&M wins this one 38-17. This one was never really in doubt. I thought pretty early on. I do want to get your opinion, Matt. I mean, we'll go through some of the stats here, but just Matt Zollers on the day, obviously, it's ugly. If you just look at the numbers, 7 for 22 for 77 yards. I mean, he's kind of hashtag one of your guys.
Yeah.
What did you think? I didn't think it was kind of what I expected for a guy that shouldn't have been out there.
Yeah.
In a really tough situation for a first start.
I don't think that he was as bad as the numbers put. I think there was a couple specifically deep throws where he just barely missed some of the wide receivers. And I think some of that just comes with timing and being out there more. I mean, look, here's the thing. Texas A&M was in his face a lot. There was a lot of throws that I was watching, he was getting hit as he was throwing. And maybe some of that was on him. That's definitely a game I want to go back and watch. Maybe was he holding on to the ball too long? It seemed like that at times. It's definitely something he did in high school. I think he was able to get away with things like that because he was a little bit of you could call him the quote unquote gamer, right? That would hold on to the ball, run around in the backfield a little bit and kind of get that ball out and make the big play, the a la Patrick Mahomes, Kyler Murray, Matt Stafford kind of thing, Aaron Rodgers, right? Obviously, that's a little bit different at the college football level. The game moves a little bit faster. We talked about it if you watched a tailgate Saturday morning, depending on what time you listen to this. If you're not watching live, we talked about it, the fact that he was injured. I can't remember what was it. ACL? What was it that he did his senior year? I can't remember. I thought maybe it'd been a broken leg.
I think it was broken leg, if I remember correctly. Because we were this isn't really a long-term thing that we're concerned about. It just stinks to miss essentially your entire senior year.
But he missed his entire senior season. He did come into Missouri early, and as you mentioned on the tailgate, he came out as the third-string quarterback. So none of us were really expecting him to play this year. But again, when he went out there, yes, he looked like a freshman, but he didn't look completely lost. And I do, especially if you talk about the Vanderbilt game as well, the Vanderbilt game in this one, I still think there's some promising plays for him. I am excited to see what he looks like the rest of the season because, you asked me a question on the tailgate, and I don't think we're there yet, but you asked me, do you think if he is able to play well enough, will he run away with this job next year? I still think there's that opportunity. Like, I'm seeing flashes, but he's got to look better than what he did today, probably closer to what he looked like in that, I think it was mainly the second half of the Vanderbilt game, because I know he didn't get the full game last week. Might have been in the second quarter he went. I can't remember exactly when he went in last week.
Yeah, I think it was late second quarter. I thought he looked decent in the second half of that game. Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with you. I just thought, he was not processing fast enough, I think, was a lot of the problem. So obviously, you fix that with the reps, and I'm sure he wasn't even getting that much in practice. He's been the 2 for a while, because what's his name went down like the first game of the
Sam
season,
Horn.
right?
Yeah. My other guy, Sam Horn. Yeah. Went down I think it was like the first drive.
I think it was
out,
like the first play that he got. Yeah, they were like, why don't you just run, just run the option, and just got crushed. Not I wouldn't put him in that situation if I was that coaching staff. But for other guys on Missouri,
they probably thought Bo Perbula was out there, and then they realized it was Sam Horn. It's like, wait, Bo? Ah, crap. Yeah, it's like, well, yeah, good luck. Go get him, kid.
It's the perils of having 3 QBs that all look virtually identical.
Similar?
I'm sure, with the helmet and pads on. I think they're all about the same size and same build. Yeah. For the other guys on Missouri, they did run the ball reasonably effectively today. Jamal Robert, 17 carries, 110 yards and a touchdown. Ahmad Hardy had 109 yards and a touchdown. And then Alugbide was Zoller's favorite target on the day. Really, the only catch that I remember was like a back shoulder-ish throw that actually really wasn't a great throw, but Alugbide made a really nice catch on it. That stuck out to me. On the other side of things, I mean, I guess I don't think this game was ever really in doubt. If you look at all the stats and stuff, a ton of guys got carries, a ton of guys had catches. Marcel Reed had 221 yards passing on the day, 2 passing touchdowns. Ruben Owens 102 and 2 on the ground. Casey Concepcion 4 for 84 and a touchdown. Mario Craver was 6 for 59. He left with an injury. I think he came back, if I remember correctly, but that's just going to be something to monitor with him. And I did think it was also interesting. And again, I know this game was kind of getting out of hand a little bit, but Jamarian Morrow was the second leading rusher for them, and he's had some opportunities recently. A&M's going to graduate some guys. I just think that's something to maybe watch over the next couple of weeks. It's not Morrow hasn't been terribly effective, but and they're a team that could hit the portal for sure. But I just think that's worth monitoring over the next couple of weeks. Georgia, Mississippi State. This one got real ugly real quick. Georgia wins 41-21, and it was not as close as that sounds. No. Georgia, Gunnar Stockton, 18 for 29, 264 yards passing, 3 passing touchdowns, added 30-ish yards on the ground. Nate Frazier, 12 carries, 181 yards and a touchdown. Chauncey Bowen, 7 for 28 and 1. Bo Walker got some run. Our guy Bo Walker, 4 for 22 for him. On the receiving side of things, Noah Thomas just got his usual red zone catch, and then a couple others, 3 for 78 and 1 for him. Zachariah Branch, 8 for 68 and 1. Oscar Delp is a really interesting. He looks every time he gets opportunities, he looks really good. Yeah. 3 for 41 and 1 on the day for him. I think he's a guy that might end up getting drafted a lot earlier than people think. On the other side, Mississippi State, Blake Shapen left in the third quarter, did not return. Camario Taylor came in for him in relief, 6 for 10 for 87 yards passing, 13 carries, 53 yards, 3 rushing touchdowns. Fluff Bothwell, 9 for 44. Brendan Thompson, 4 catches, 92 yards. Seydou Traore, 5 for 33. Anthony Evans, 4 for 27. So, I guess things to discuss here. We might get Camario Taylor rest of season. I think that's going to be really interesting. We'll find out a little more about what we have in him, right? And he was a guy that we were pretty high on. We just, again, was like, he probably needs to sit at least a year. The raw tools are awesome. At least from a CFF perspective, I think there's a chance that he's really, really fun over the next couple of years.
Yeah. Which on the Camario Taylor part, maybe I missed this. Did Croman get injured at any point, or is he just now the 3?
I mean, they've had specific packages and stuff for Taylor recently. I just think Taylor's been the 2. I haven't seen exactly if they've been releasing depth charts or anything, but Croman hasn't been getting in games, and Taylor has played almost every week, I think.
Yeah, so I mean, if that's the case, because obviously, he transferred in and kind of fits again like what Mississippi State wants and like those quarterbacks. Obviously, Kamario Taylor's a better athlete than Coleman Hawk, but I thought maybe with him having a year in college football could have helped him transferring here. If we do get Kamario Taylor, yeah, I'm with you. It's kind of like the same thing we were just talking about with Matt Zollers, right? Like, wasn't a player we were expecting to play this year, probably needed some time, but goes out there and impresses. It probably is his job then moving forward into next season. So definitely a player that we'll be watching. Mississippi State actually plays Missouri next week, I believe. So that'll be a game that I'll be very tuned into. Yeah, I would love to watch, especially if Taylor is announced as a starter, to watch Kamario Taylor and Matt Zollers go against each other. But yeah, he's a player that we did really like. Excited to see what he looks like. Fluff Bothwell, a little bit of a disappointing game here. I mean, Nate Frazier finally turning it around and having a very big week here has been interesting.
It's interesting, but he, to my recollection, was not like the guy that was out there first. I think this stuff kind of came in a little bit later, which I think is just notable.
What they were up, was it 38-7 before I think Mississippi State scored again and made it 14-38? Like it was, again, you just said it a minute ago. The final score is not indicative at all. The 41-20, like Georgia was running away with this fairly. Like I think at one point it was 24-7 or I think it was 24-7. Like it did not look like Mississippi State was going to be able to score more than one touchdown on them. So yeah, it might have been late again. I don't know that it's this year, but he's a guy that we both liked. When do we start having a discussion about maybe what Gunnar Stockton's NFL future is? Because I get he hasn't been super impressive, but he's been fairly consistent.
He hasn't been like NFL draft worthy to me this year. Chris talked about it this morning, and I think I generally agree. Like it's very clear they just play super, super conservative every week because they don't trust him to open it up. And then they get in trouble and they're like, oh, I guess we got to open it up. And kind of works out. But
that's maybe fair. I think they did the exact opposite with Stetson Bennett. It was like, well, let's just open it up and see what he does. And after he made a couple turnovers, like, yeah, well, let's maybe rein that back in a little bit.
With Beck as well, which could maybe be, that kind of shows you maybe that why this would be concerning if they trusted Carson Beck and Stetson Bennett a lot and they seem real hesitant.
That's fair.
Trust Stockton.
I think Stockton's been fairly consistent. Again, I'm not saying that he's been the best quarterback in college or anything, but I think he's been fairly consistent. Again, I've been very surprised with what he's done as a rusher. Again, I don't think it's this year, but I'd be very curious to see. I would assume he starts next year, right? It's not going to be Jared Curtis. They're probably going with Stockton.
No, he'll be back next year. He's not going to transfer and he's not going to go to the NFL. So.
I'd be very curious to see where he falls for the NFL draft community at the start of next year. I don't know. I still like him. I think he's an interesting quarterback. He's shown me enough this year to be intrigued by him.
He feels like one of those like 4th, 5th round developmental guys.
I'm going to say like 3rd, but 4th round, day 3 guy. It's kind of mean, but I get it.
Just calling it like I see it right now. Yeah, the only other note that I like Delp just looks so smooth when he gets the ball, man. Like I think that he's gonna come out this year and trying to think, could he be the 2nd tight end off the board?
Who's going
Round
first?
2?
Sadiq?
Probably Sadiq, but we're gonna talk Oregon. We kind of have it buried in here because from a fantasy perspective, it was just
it's not a great
good game at all. But he didn't play today. So he just really hasn't been like terribly productive this year.
I think so. Who's probably in the discussion at 2? Stowers?
Yeah, Stowers.
Claire has not been super good this year. I don't know that I know he was like kind of the talk, especially with the transfer into Ohio State. I don't know that he's in that discussion.
Yeah, if you're a tight end, just stop going to Ohio State, man. Like, please stop going to Ohio State. The other guys that I think would be in there, maybe
that's
Justin
a good point,
Jolie,
Matty guys. Maybe Trigg, especially with the year Trigg's had.
Yep, Trigg, Jolie, Kanik, Delp, I think would be the guys in there.
Yeah, I could see it. I think, I don't know. I don't know if I would. I kind of like when I'm thinking about it in my head, I think Sadiq's probably is the number 1. I think right now I'd probably have Stowers over him, but I don't know that it's like by a massive amount. So I don't know. Yeah, I definitely think he's in that discussion. I'm just trying to think, because Trigg's been so good this year that like I don't know where I'd put him, because I almost think I probably have Delp as like a better overall tight end than Trigg. But I don't know. I just that Baylor offense worries me a little bit about when it comes to players transitioning to the NFL. So but I definitely think he's in the discussion with that whole group.
And not that it matters that much for tight end, but like he's an older prospect. Like it took him a really long time to finally kind of do this. But obviously, some team's going to bank on the athleticism.
Yeah,
because it's notable. So there's going to be some interesting discussions for tight end 2 in this class, I think.
Yeah.
West Virginia, Colorado actually have next on the list here. 29-22, West Virginia ends up winning this one. Battle of true freshman QBs. And I actually think, we talked about this morning, we're like, Colorado's got both their tackles out. This might not be like the best situation to drop a true freshman in for their first start. Julian Lewis looked pretty good in this one. We'll talk about that here in a second. For West Virginia, Scotty Fox, their starting quarterback, 17 for 28, 202 yards, 1 passing touchdown, 2 interceptions, added 58 yards on the ground as well. This freshman running back that they have, Diore Hubbard, has been the guy the past couple of weeks here.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen with, because they've got a couple of guys out for the rest of the year, Ty Edwards and was it Jalen White?
Jaheim White.
Jaheim White, thank you. Is kind of out right now, and I think White can come back. I don't remember if Edwards can or not. But Hubbard is a guy that I might be targeting pretty heavily on waivers this week for the rest of the season because he's getting a ton of work, especially in the receiving game. 16 for 64 on the ground this week, but then 6 catches for 94 yards for him. It's just an interesting name to pay attention to here as we kind of roll down the rest of the season. For Colorado, Julian Lewis threw for almost 300 yards, 2 touchdowns. I thought he looked pretty comfortable. I think there were some times where maybe, just like true freshman stuff, held on the ball too long, blah, 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 blah. But I thought overall he played pretty well. Traylon Miller, I'm interested to see going into next year what they do with him positionally because he had 10 carries on the day for 42 yards, added 4 for 37 through the air as well. Omarion Miller, 6 for 131 and 1, and Joseph Williams, 3 for 64 and 1.
Yeah, on the West Virginia side, I was trying to think of what the running back's name was that went in there as a true freshman, and I cannot for the life of me remember what his name is now. But I was hoping he would get some run, and I don't think he has. So I do think that you are right. Yeah, I think it was last year. We had him as like 22 miles per hour. I could have swore I had him rated pretty highly, but I can't remember what his name is right now. Maybe he transferred. He probably transferred out. I think he transferred out toward the end of the signing day. But yeah, I don't disagree with you with the way that Diore Hubbard is. I'm going to be honest, like today's the first time I really watched him, and I was mainly watching the game to watch Julian Lewis. So like I don't know how good he's looked up until this point, but I do think he was pretty impressive. Definitely a name to watch on that side of things. I mean, look, Julian Lewis, we talked about it on the tailgate, right? Like 2 of their offensive linemen out. Again, you said true freshman. Realistically, he's like a true senior, right? Senior in high school. He was not a player that was supposed to be in college right now. I thought he looked good. I mean, look, the one thing was like talked about a very clean mechanics. He's a very accurate passer, very good. Didn't necessarily have the strongest arm. I think some of that panned out today, but I thought he was very accurate with the ball. One of the things that I really appreciate, and again, you got to take some of this into context, right? Like West Virginia, you mentioned it on the tailgate this morning. Not necessarily the greatest team to go up against, but probably a good team for him to get his first start against. He was moving a little bit. There was a couple of times that when the pocket collapsed on him, he got out of the pocket. There was one play I remember. I think it was probably like 5 to 7 yards that he ran for a first down. Like he was running a little bit more than I expected him to be. Looked like a better athlete than I was expecting him to be. Again, it's hard for me to project what I think Juju Lewis's future is right now because I think so much with Colorado is up in the air. We talked about on C2C Live on Wednesday, like what does Deion's health look like? Does he stay on as the coach? But what I will say is, again, for a guy who reclassified up, should still be in high school right now, I was fairly impressed with how he looked today against West Virginia. And I was not expecting that. I was expecting him to be a little bit worse than what he was, to be honest.
Yeah, for sure. DeAndre Desinor is the running back you're thinking of who flipped. Yes. Yeah, he's at NC State. So, yeah. I knew as soon as I pulled up my stuff from last year, I could find the name pretty quick, and I
yeah, as soon as I was saying it, I was like, man, I think he actually flipped on signing day. Yeah.
Because NC State had a kid who like went missing and didn't go to school that lined up at running back. So then they flipped him.
Gotcha.
It was a very weird late dominoes in terms of
well, hopefully everybody's okay. We'll say that
he is like it was very, very weird. I don't know. Gotcha. I don't know.
Kids these days,
6, 7 and all that.
Kids.
UConn, Duke, 37-34. UConn, a big win for UConn. I shout out to them and Jim Mora and that gang for kind of taking a real ragtag group kind of and putting together a pretty good season here. For UConn, Joey Fagano, again, Central PA's finest, 27 for 39, 300 yards passing, 3 passing touchdowns, 51 rush yards. Cam Edwards, 51 rush yards and a touchdown, had 4 for 42 receiving as well. Leading receiver on the day, actually, yardage-wise, was Raymello Murphy, which is a name that I'm not terribly familiar with, but he had 5 for 110. Skylar Bell, though, had 11 for 87 and 2. And Juice Farine got his touchdown, 4 for 46 and a touchdown. On the Duke side of things, Darian Mensah, 220-ish yards passing, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. It wasn't his best performance. Nate Shepard, 16 carries, 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. Keyshawn Brown, 5 for 61. Cooper Barkate, 5 for 50.
Yeah, I mean, isn't that just like Darian Mensah to have the game he had last week, and all of a sudden I should say everybody, people being, oh, maybe this is interesting. This guy, NFL trip, and then goes out there and does this against a UConn team they should not have lost to. All I'll say is like, I actually went. I don't know if it's just because people didn't trust him or what, but in a couple of the C2C leagues, I mean, Joey Fagano was still on the waiver wire. I went and picked him up over the past 2 weeks. I couldn't be happier. Could not be happier. I've actually seen in a couple of mine as well that Cam Edwards is still on there. He's a guy that I would go pick up. I mean, Skylar Bell does it again. We were talking about him this morning. You had mentioned leads all of college football and receptions, added 11. He was already up by 10. Adds 11 more. Like, I think he's pretty much got that locked up. Like, him and Joey Fagano clearly have a lot of chemistry. He's playing really well. I'm like, good for UConn. Real quick, good for John Lobb. I'm sure John's going to listen to this at some point.
He was at the game, I believe.
He said he was on the way to the game while listening to us. Like, having to deal with how bad UConn has been for a while, to see stuff like this, a fun
for offense. A while.
Yeah.
Forever. Forever.
Well, yeah, no, I didn't want to rub it in. I was going to say for a while. But I'm sure even when UConn's not necessarily winning games, to see this offense be this much fun, I imagine just got to be fun going to the game. So, yeah, it's great to see that, on the Duke side of things. We'll see what they look like next week. I mean, disappointing for Cooper Barkate. We talked a little bit about him this morning. As you mentioned, Nate Shepard, pretty good day. But yeah, Mensah, I think it's kind of what he is, right? That's what he was at Tulane as well. It's like it's up and down. 1 week, it's great. Love having him. You can see the NFL upside. I think, Felix has talked about him before, going back to like what he was as a true freshman, and then the next week kind of just very inconsistent.
Some of the stuff that he does makes me think that he is not always doing this, but I think often he is predetermining where he's going to go with like a relatively high degree of certainty, because he does a ton of back shoulder stuff. I see like more than any quarterback I think I've ever watched, to guys who like blatantly are not open. Like the coverage is there and he's just, flinging it in there and hoping that he can, the chemistry is there with his guys. Yeah, I think that there's a lot of that for him. So, I mean, this is really only his second year starting. He has 2 more years of eligibility if he wants to. Yeah. So, he'll use at least one of those for sure. Louisiana, Texas State. I didn't really watch a lot of this game, but I just thought it was worth putting on here because it was a 42-39 score line, and there was some big performances in this one. For Louisiana, I think it's going to be interesting going into next year because they brought in, is it Will Rogers, the QB? That they brought in?
I think so. Wait, Will Rogers? Was it?
It's the former LSU guy.
Isn't it Will Walker Howard? Walker
Howard. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, they brought in Walker Howard and Shelton Sampson this offseason, and then Walker Howard got hurt like pretty instantly, if I remember correctly. And so they've been kind of playing around the QB position, and they seem to have something in this Lunch Winfield kid who had about 200 yards passing today, 3 passing touchdowns, then added 50 and 2 on the ground. Sampson himself, 5 for 80 and 2. I know there was somebody in our chat on the tailgate this morning who was a little upset with himself for starting Sampson over Mekhi Lemon, who went for 100 and something and 1 yesterday. And this probably got Sampson, relatively close to what Lemon did. So probably not beating himself up too bad over that anymore. Bill Davis, which sounds like a name from the 40s, did add 18 for 87 and a touchdown on the ground. For Texas State, Brad Jackson, 360 and 3. Lincoln Pear, 89 yards rushing touchdown. Bo Sparks, 186 yards, 10 receptions, a touchdown, and a 50-yard rush touchdown as well. So, their guys all stepped up there. So Louisiana is going to be an interesting one to monitor. Does Shelton Sampson stay there? Does he try to bounce back up? Does Walker Howard? It's going to be very, very interesting.
Yeah, not only for them, there's a joke in there about Winfield's a real bring your lunch pail to work kind of guy. What has been very good. I don't disagree with you. It'll be interesting to see how that possible QB battle works out. He was a 5-star for a lot of the services we did not have. I think we actually had him as probably like more of a 3-star. We were not big Walker Howard fans. Was as you mentioned committed to LSU.
We were real low on him. Yeah,
that was the famous Brian Kelly dance video, the 360 cam, which is probably another reason why he got fired. But yeah, that was good times for them. Yeah, Shelton Sampson, good game. He was actually a player that I liked. I know we had I don't think we disliked him as a player. It was more of like just him going to LSU. We didn't really see him getting on the field.
He was raw. We were lower than market.
Yeah.
We had him as like a mid 4-star. Yeah.
But I think it's a good landing spot for him. Yeah, for I think it was Joe something that ended up playing him over Mekhi Lemon. Don't think you're wrong. He probably didn't return what Mekhi Lemon did, but still pretty good day. 80 yards, 2 touchdowns. Look, let's give it up. Let's give it up to Colin. Brad Jackson's dad apparently loves himself some Brad Jackson and somebody Middlebrooks. I forgot what his first name is. I think Middlebrooks had a good day today too. Brad Jackson though, great day. I actually have him rostered in a lot of leagues as well. A lot of fun. Texas State's going to be a lot of fun too to watch over the next couple of years because Brad Jackson, he's like a true freshman, right? A redshirt freshman.
I think he's a redshirt freshman. So he's got some years left if he wants it. Yeah. Actually, let's pull up how Middlebrook did today because I'll shoot Colin a text right now. 8 carries for 30 yards.
That sounds like a Colin Decker guy if I've ever heard.
He did add 5 for 64 and a touchdown receiving. So
so
can't be too hard on him.
Yeah.
Rutgers, Maryland, 35-20. Rutgers win here. Callie McManus at quarterback for Rutgers, 229 yards passing, 4 touchdowns. Antoine Raymond, 41 carries, 240 yards and a touchdown. No receptions. Just thought that was interesting. Ian Strong, 5 for 88 and 3 touchdowns, and didn't leave anything for KJ Duff, who went 2 for 69. Just shout out Antoine Raymond, I guess. Good for him.
If anyone started him, you're feeling really good today. Feeling probably did not lose. Would be my.
The crazy part is if you're in a PPR league though, like that is not that great of a week. It's 30 points. I'm not.
Yeah, that's 30 points.
We've talked about some guys that probably got pretty close to that. That statistically not nearly. They didn't have to put 41 carries on their poor body this week. So Antoine Raymond probably gonna have a tough time getting out of bed tomorrow. But shout out to him. For Maryland, Malik Washington. Just a very interesting day for him. Only 98 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, but added 164 yards rushing on the ground and a touchdown. Had a couple of really nice runs, which isn't really something that he's shown a lot of this year in high school, etc. So I thought that was interesting. Nobody else really did anything for Maryland. Nolan Ray, 5 carries, 77 yards. Dorian Fleming, 4 catches, 39 yards. Caleb Webb had the touchdown. It was like 21 yards. The Malik Washington stuff was what stood out to me for them.
Yeah, again, we've talked a little bit. I think we've probably talked more JKS and Heisman Heinzel for kind of what, at least, Heisman Heinzel, what he's done of late, JKS, what he did earlier in the season. I don't think Malik Washington has really been bad. He's been kind of what we expected, maybe even a little bit better. I don't think he gets a lot of love because I think it's probably fair to say as bad as Cal is, Maryland's probably right there with him. And I think, Malik Washington has been somewhat good. I'll be I don't ever want anyone to actually get fired, but I would really like to see if maybe Maryland, whether it's to get a better offensive coordinator in there or do something, because I think Washington's got some interesting skills. I mean, he's a guy, I think we had him as like our QB 6 or 7 in this last class. Like we had him maybe a little bit lower.
I think it was closer to 10. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, he was a guy that we liked because we thought there was some interesting tools there. And I think if he's given the chance to maybe open that up, could be I'm not saying NFL future, but could be a very interesting college quarterback. But doesn't have a lot around him right now. But for a guy that we had some concerns on, I think he's been fairly good as a freshman. He's been fun to watch this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think you just are, and I think rightfully so. Like, I don't think this is necessarily a bad process. I think you have to be worried about some of these freshman QBs that are slated to start for bad rosters. Yes. But all the guys this year have generally done, pretty well. We're not touching on this game at all because it's still going on. But by the way, speaking of true freshmen, have you watching this Nebraska game at all?
I am. I have got 28-7 right now. Yeah.
First off, just shout out to Dana Holgerson, who is calling just a master class of a game for this dude, because he is not good at all. But this TJ Lateef kid, who's like 8 for 8 for 160, 180 yards and a couple of scores. Scheming stuff open for this guy left and right. Just really good stuff. Dylan Raiola is like, where was that for me the past?
Yeah, Emmett Johnson's been. I think he's only got like 60 yards rushing, but I think he's got 60 plus yards receiving as well. Like Emmett Johnson's having himself a game right now as well for Nebraska.
Yeah. East Carolina, Charlotte. I didn't watch any of this game, but again, there's another one I wanted to highlight some of the performances. 48-22 for East Carolina. Canton Hauser, 224 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. London Montgomery, 85 yards and a score on the ground. And then Anthony and Yannick Smith continue to just, put up points week in, week out. 8 for 69 and a touchdown for Anthony Smith, 6 for 59 and a touchdown for Yannick. So shout out to those guys. Charlotte, I don't know that we need to get too far into that, but I got a roster with Javen Nicholas on it. It's a real deep league. But yeah, 3 for 90 and 2 today. Shout out to
You're probably feeling pretty good about that if it's that deep a league and he's getting you 3 for 90 and 2. So
I mean, I didn't play him, but I've got him.
Got him. There you go.
Good times.
Maybe next week.
Maybe it feels like we buried a couple of these bigger matchups, but they just weren't amazing fantasy matchups. But I thought it was fitting to kind of put them back to back to end-ish the show here, at least kind of on the planned games to talk about. Oregon, Iowa, we can start off with here. 18-16, Oregon ends up pulling this one out. On the Oregon side, Dante Moore, 13 for 21, 112 yards passing, no touchdowns, and 1 interception, 4 for 46 on the ground. Noah Whittington, 17 carries, 118 yards. Jordan Davison, 8 for 52. And then the leading receiver on the day, Jamari Johnson, 4 for 36. And I think we have to also add the note on Oregon side that Kenyon Sadiq was ruled out shortly before game time. DeCorian Moore suffered a non-contact injury in practice this week. I think I saw Nakos and maybe somebody else report that they don't think it's season ending. But we'll see when they actually give us an answer there as to what it is. And Gary Bryant Jr. was also out. So they're missing all 3 of those guys today coming into this, which I'm sure didn't really help them a ton.
There's been rumors on both sides of the DeCorian Moore injury. So, I think at this point, it's probably best to let's just wait and see what's because there's been, like Austin just met, which is like legitimate reporters saying one thing. I haven't seen a legitimate reporter come out, and I'm not going to say what the other rumor is. You can go look it up if you want, but I haven't seen a legitimate reporter say that side of the rumor, but we've seen and we've heard things that maybe it's something more serious. So we'll see. At this point, we just got to wait. Man, I don't know what to think right now about Moore. I know he announced earlier this week he's coming back next season, which is probably the very smart choice on his side of things. But I kind of feel like at this point we keep making excuses for it was bad weather in the Wisconsin game, or it was this in the Indiana game. And now it's in fairness, he was missing all his weapons against a good Iowa defense. But it's to me, he did not look that impressive at all. I know there's been some people talking about at least earlier on when he was looking the way that he did, maybe he could return. We at once, myself included, I had him as my number 2 quarterback in that class. People thought he could be a possible first-round pick. I'm really starting to think more and more, the more I've watched him of late, that times past. I don't know that I necessarily believe that. I mean, I'm trying to give him some grace because, again, the Wisconsin game, it was bad weather. I believe he got hurt in that game too because he ended up coming out.
Yeah, he got hit in the face and like I don't know if he broke his nose, but they were saying like it like did something to his face.
I mean, in fairness, I had a kid drill me in the face with a soccer ball the other day, and it took me about 5 to 10 minutes to kind of get the water out of my eyes as I pretended to be okay. Look, noses are sensitive, man. I don't know when's the last time you got hit in the nose, but it's not fun. And, Dante Moore probably got a lot worse than I did. But again, yeah, today I get it. The weapons weren't there, but like, man, sometimes like we just talked about this with like JKS and Malik Washington, and maybe this is like, what have you done for me lately talk here? But like, I feel like there's been times this season without anything near close to the weapons that even Dante Moore has. I've seen JKS and Malik Washington play better. It's like, I just don't know. Like, Oregon's got the weapons around him. They've got still a really good offensive line. Like, overall, the talent Oregon has on that roster is better than anything JKS and Malik Washington have. And Dante Moore is his third year in college football and still just not looking like that guy. So I'm starting to get more and more concerned the more I watch Dante play.
I fully agree. I think the big issues for him have not gotten any better. Yeah. It's just if there's pressure, but he can just step up and like run that way, he's fine. Otherwise, he's kind of a mess.
Yeah.
Now is he, fairly accurate downfield? Yeah, I think so. But I think the other thing with him is, and maybe I should go to PFF before I say this, but like anecdotally, I don't think that he's a great over the middle of the field thrower either, which, to me kind of is a little worrisome. We're getting into year 3 here and he's not great at it. Now, I don't know if Oregon's offense does a lot of it either, because I also don't remember Bo Nix testing the middle of the field, but I think that's all that Bo Nix isn't good at. Like, I don't know. I don't know if it's a chicken or egg situation there on that one, but Moore has really, really, the first couple of weeks looked pretty impressive, but it was kind of one of those like, let's wait till the tougher matchups start rolling in. And since then, he's not been good at all. So, pretty concerning there overall. We're just waiting on news on DeCorian Moore. I think it's the only other real takeaway from that game overall.
Yeah.
Indiana, Penn State. Indiana wins this one on a really crazy catch at with like 30 seconds left by Omar Cooper. It's funny because Penn State, if they hadn't turtled at the end, I think should have maybe won this game. You have nothing to play for, and they're being super conservative on that last drive. To me, just made no sense. Like, F it, flea flicker on the last drive. Who cares? You stink. Like, I don't know. I don't know why they kind of clammed up there at the end, but
it's the ghost of James Franklin still in the building. That's all it is. Well, that's all it is. If Franklin was still there, they would have done that exact same thing. They'd have been that conservative in the final drive. That's all it was.
We at C2C kind of, behind the scenes, we're all saying all day, like, he better sign a contract wherever he's about to sign. And like, because this is, if they win this game, like how bad does that look for James Franklin that things happen the way they happened with him there. Yeah. Not great. Statistically for Indiana on the day, Fernando Mendoza, and I tweeted this out, and Mendoza was one of the players that I had in mind. Dante Moore was the other, where I said, like, he was legitimately crap for this entire game. But we're giving him all this love for the 2-minute drill at the end and the throw at the end. That doesn't compute to me. Like, he put them in this situation to start with. He was not good in this game at all. I thought it was really interesting because I think this is the first game this year that he's really seen pressure, and he was bad.
Mm-hmm.
He was panicking. I thought that was really, really interesting. 218 yards passing, a touchdown, an interception, a rush touchdown for him. And then statistically on the day, like Roman Hemby, they never really got the running game going, which I thought was interesting. That's been kind of a staple for them. It's one of those, like, you blink and they've got 40 carries for 255 yards every week. No Elijah Surratt. Charlie Becker, I probably had the least amount of separation I've ever seen in my life for a guy that went 7 for 118 in a game. They really need Surratt to get back. Omar Cooper, 6 for 32, and that big touchdown at the end for him. Just really great catch. Shout out to him. I don't know how he did that. On the Penn State side of things, Grunkmeyer actually kind of looked okay. 219 yards passing, a touchdown and interception for him. Nicholas Singleton, he finally broke the long one. 10 carries, 71 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 catches, 22 yards, and a receiving touchdown. Gatran Island had like 20 carries for 50 yards. He did nothing. Trevor Pena, 6 for 99, and then a bunch of other, low end stuff. But yeah, I mean, I watched this game and came away with even less impressed with Fernando Mendoza. And I've always been like maybe he can be a back end around one guy to me, but the 101 talk for me is ridiculous personally. It's not that quality of player.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of that comes from just it's such a weak QB class. Like, there's just nobody here, right? Like, I don't know when the last time is we saw a first round go with no quarterbacks drafted, but like I don't know that it'll happen. I don't know that. Yeah, so fair. I really don't know that it'll happen, but like I feel like if there's a year, this might be the year to do it because I just don't know that anybody really deserves to be in that discussion. I mean, I guess we'll see. I mean, again, Mendoza's had a good year, and he's obviously in the Heisman discussion. I think today probably hurt him some because again, Penn State, despite what their record says, they played good. I mean, again, that defensive line is really good. They gave Ohio State trouble as well for like that whole first half, but they were able to kind of figure that out. Cignetti in Indiana wasn't. Be interesting to see what that means for them moving forward because again, I don't think they have the rest of their schedule is pretty cake. Until my assumption is they'll probably play Ohio State in the Big Ten championship, where again, he'll face pressure, probably not as good as the pressure he faced today against Penn State, but he'll face pressure. So that'll be very interesting to see how they handle that. I mean, I will say that you're not wrong. I get why everybody though is a little bit excited. He was getting hit while making that throw. And like, I wanted to say it was Omar, right? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah,
Omar I want to say it was more Omar making that great, which it was. Like the fact, because in college you only have to get the 1 foot down. So for him to get that 1 foot down, but again, if you watch Fernando Mendoza make that throw, though, I mean, he was running backwards, practically getting hit and put it exactly. I mean, it's just a great play overall. If Fernando Mendoza wins the Heisman, that might be the Heisman moment right there. I mean, it was overall. And I don't know if you were watching this with like the sound on, but I swear Gus Johnson was having a heart attack.
I hated his call.
Okay,
I thought he absolutely ruined it.
Yeah. Like, dude, that's exactly what it sounded like. Again,
man, like, shut up.
Here's the thing. I love Gus Johnson. He's had some great calls and some big moments. I don't disagree. That was not one of his finest. It was not great. But yeah, great play by Mendoza. Great play by Omar. Again, good for Indiana. I mean, Mox was right all morning long. I thought Indiana was going to run away with this. And at one point in time earlier in the game, it looked like they were going to.
It was like 20-7 at one point, and I was like, okay, here it comes. Like, you know, the floodgates are about to open, and it never did.
I'm going to be honest with you. I turned it off at that point. I switched games. It's like, oh, it's over. And then all of a sudden, I think, it was actually Mox. Mox posted something in our Slack channel about being like, number one Penn State believer. And I'm like, what is he talking about? And then I was like, what the? It was like 23 to whatever. Then I was like, oh my God. So I went and put the game back on. And it's like, this is ridiculous. This is happening right now. So yeah.
Yeah, that was a fun one. A couple other games that have either wrapped up here, or we can just kind of mention. Alabama ends up winning 20-9 against LSU. I didn't think Simpson was particularly great tonight.
No way.
I know that'll make you happy to hear that.
Nah, me happy? No, not at all. Not at all.
He was missing some throws that he probably should have had.
Like he's been doing all year? Crazy how that works.
Not
he's
sure
been missing throws all year.
But,
he's been missing throws all year.
Cal ends up upsetting Louisville, which is really interesting, and it's gonna. I mean, the ACC's a one bid league at this point.
Yeah, it's a dumpster. Because
Virginia lost to Wake Forest. Chandler Morris left that game and didn't come back.
Yeah,
Virginia's season might be over if that's the case, because I forget who was the backup, but he was freaking terrible. It's a name that Daniel Kalen. It was a name that like I saw and I was like, oh. That's where he is now. It's kind of like Mitch Griffis at Texas Tech, and we saw that, that last week or 2 weeks ago. We were like,
2 weeks ago. I was like, interesting.
So, they might be toast here. That Wake Forest, give them a little credit. They're 6-3 on the year. They've actually been sneakily a little better. But yeah, that two big upsets there. Here's one that I actually didn't watch any of this game at. Kentucky destroyed Florida.
I didn't watch this either, but not surprising.
I've got it recorded. I'm really interested to go watch it. I mean, the stat lines as I'm looking at them here, I'm like, I don't understand. DJ Lagway went 11 for 19 for 83 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. And Trammell Jones came in and went 9 for 17 for 6. Like, did they yank Lagway or did he get hurt?
That I don't know. I didn't watch any of this game.
I did not either. So he was benched. He got picked off 3 times in the first half and was benched. Wild. Oof. Yeah, I'm interested to go watch this one now. Lagway this kind of been the story of his season, unfortunately. Cutter Boley, 168 yards passing, 2 touchdowns and interception. Shout out to Cutter Boley, who was not on the internet dancing around with his cash this week, a different Kentucky quarterback. Who shall remain nameless. Just a real balanced effort there. I know some people are getting interested in DJ Miller. He had 2 for 20 today. Didn't do much, but just really, really balanced across the board. Nobody had more than 44 yards receiving for them. So that's an interesting one. I'm going to need to go back and watch. But any other game? Carnell Tate sat today. They said it was like precautionary. He tightened up in warm-ups or something.
Let me see. Someone sent me something about it, but I don't remember if I can. Because I didn't hear anything about it before warm-ups. I don't think anybody did. So let's see here. I don't know.
Yeah, that one came out of nowhere.
For precautionary reasons. Let me see here. Yeah. So that was sent to me at I was at 1:00. So I'm trying to see if they have. Oh, hang on. So yeah, 12:30 my time. They sent it to me that he was not going to be playing. I mean, that's not great. I don't know. Oh no, I actually have. Maybe I should just pay more attention to my phone. I have here that he was not out there for warm-ups at all. So I don't know. I don't know what was wrong with him. I heard the same thing. The text that I have says precautionary reasons as well. I don't know. Obviously, he was dressed on the sideline, so I think that's probably a good thing. Again, at this point, like Ohio State has really nothing to play for over the next couple of weeks, probably until Thanksgiving in the game, because Ryan Day wants to win that game and then get ready for Big Ten championship. There's probably no reason to rush him out. It sucks if you started him, especially with how good he's been over the past couple of weeks. Again, once college football goes to some kind of injury report thing and they have to report that kind of stuff, which I'm sure is going to happen in the next couple of years.
They said it occurred in warmups. Now, we can believe that or not, but it was not something I think they anticipated coming into the day. So.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't expect it with the dress as he was. There was times he was walking around on the sideline with his helmet. He's just never allowed to go in the game. So I imagine if they knew something before the game, he wouldn't have been out there like that. So yeah. But I mean, it's one of those things where, again, I think once we get, because I do think it's coming. Like even if that happens in the NFL, about it though before the game kicks off. Like, hey, he's not playing for whatever happens. They have to report that stuff because of betting and everything else. So it does suck, especially right next what we were talking about this morning. Some leagues kicked off their playoffs this weekend, so like not getting anything from Carnell Tate might have cost you. Like that really sucks. It's unfortunately that the dark side of college football, if you want to put it that way.
Yeah.
JKS looked good today, though. Just want to throw that out there. After we were kind of talking about, it hasn't been great. He had a very good game against Louisville today. I watched most of it. Was on the quad box. I want to go back and kind of watch it specifically, but from what I remember, it looked really good today. So
he's no Heisman Heinschel, but that'll do. That'll do.
I picked up Heisman Heinschel in a bunch of my leagues. I'm excited about him.
My guy. All right, I think we'll wrap it up there, guys. Thanks for tuning in here with us. For those who tuned in live, obviously, like, subscribe, all that stuff. And if you're listening to us on the podcast feed here, leave us a review, listen to the other shows in the network. We'll be back next week to bookend your Saturday again. What you guys
can I give a quick tease real quick?
Sure.
Quick tease. We were just talking about freshmen. Special guest coming on the official this week. Make sure to tune in. It's going to be a good one.
I don't even like using the term special guest because I think he is special and he is a guest, but I think it's not really a guest thing.
Maybe. You'll have to find out Thursday what we mean by that.
Someone who's going to be hanging out with us a little more often on that show. So, yeah.
It's exciting news.
Yeah. All right. Have a good one, guys.